Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Any hope of general elections in Guyana by March virtually dashed. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, February 6th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. The Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, has indicated that it's unlikely citizens will go to the polls by March 21st, as the opposition is demanding following government's no-confidence vote defeat almost 7 weeks ago. GECOM met on Tuesday, but there was no date or timeline set for elections. The David Granger administration is appealing last month's High Court ruling that the December 21st, 2018 vote was valid and elections should be held. Under the Guyana Constitution, elections should be held within 90 days of a no-confidence motion being passed. That would mean the polls would have to take place by March 19th. But Commissioner Vincent Alexander says GECOM knows that can't happen because a clean, up-to-date voters list is needed. He said elections should be held with as perfect a list as possible, and April seems the earliest possible date if a claims and objections exercise, what's referred to as a CNO, is used instead of house-to-house registration. Ivor Wharton of Capital News has more.
According to Alexander, GECOM does not only have an obligation to hold elections, but to hold a certain type of election.
And for me, that quality of elections requires house-to-house registration because the list is bloated, and this is something we've all recognized. We now have the finances to correct it, and we should use the monies to correct it. And so my request was as compact as possible, a house-to-house, so one doesn't want to ignore the fact that there's need to hold elections, but that elections should be held with as perfect a list as possible.
Alexander, however, said that the Commission is still looking at the options put forward by GECOM's Secretariat.
Did you deliberate on possible timelines for the holding elections, and can you say what those timelines are?
The Operations Committee got from the Secretariat proposals, options, and those options were rather clear in that a March election is a no-go, April election is a no-go. There is the possibility of one after April with a CNO, and there's another proposal of one after April with house-to-house. What has not happened as yet is that the Commission has not been able to be definitive about a house-to-house as opposed to CNO.
And the claims and objection would be the earliest one if
yes, would be the earlier one. Earlier.
GECOM's Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield said that he will not be commenting on the possible dates for elections.
Ours is to stay at a particular state of readiness, all that we can do outside of a specific decision of the Commission. For us to, and you know 161 better than I do, Article 161, the Commission shall be responsible for the conduct of elections, general and regional, local government, and the conduct of registration. Each of those subsets require an order from the Commission. The Commission will give the Secretariat, well, the order will be published and gazetted, and then we proceed with the operations of this at the Secretariat, as I did say yesterday.
People's Progressive Party nominated Commissioner Robeson Ben maintains that there is some attempt by GECOM to delay the holding of early election.
In my view, a cynical and callous plan is afoot to delay the holding of elections on the constitutionally determined date according to our present circumstances. And that date is March 19, 2019.
Well, staying in Guyana, ExxonMobil on Wednesday announced additional oil discoveries at 2 wells offshore the CARICOM nation. The discoveries bring the total number in the Stabroek block to 12. Guyana's Director of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino, said the oil discoveries continue to be positive news for the country, and the real substance will come when all residents are able to benefit from them, whether directly or indirectly. Guyana intends to begin commercial oil exploration next year. Trinidad and Tobago's Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has confirmed that lawmen have uncovered a plot by 2 criminal gangs to assassinate him and members of his family. This after a story on the front page of the Trinidad Guardian newspaper on Wednesday stated that the special branch of the police service had learned of the plot in November last year. In an 11-page report, the special branch said information had suggested that a bounty has been placed on the head of the commissioner, with part payment in advance and the rest when the job is completed. Since taking up the post of top cop late last year, Griffith has received several threats, including from minors. But speaking on Citadel Radio on Wednesday, the police commissioner said the murder plot discovered by the special branch is much more sinister.
This time around, this is not just about children or persons who are unstable calling 999 and making idle threats. It seems that there is a clear and present danger towards persons actually being very concerned of my actions, and they intend to, or hope that they can actually do something. When it is that over $100 million in illegal drugs and weapons being seized, hundreds of persons being arrested recently from Operation Strike Back, so this will just actually strengthen my resolve. And it is to be noted that we are fully aware of persons who may be interested and they have concerns about what I am doing. And this varies not just from the punks who have short pants that may be way below their waistline, but also those who may very well have Hugo Boss jacket and tie.
Griffith said the fact that people are now out to kill him suggests he is stepping in the right direction, and he says he will not be deterred by criminals and will instead step up the fight against crime. The police commissioner said he's not afraid for his life, but he is alert.
Training that I have, fear is not an option. I am not stupid, however. We are fully aware of what is required. As I stated, the good thing about it is that we know what the intentions would be from the enemy. In fact, if this is expected around other countries in the world, when it is that certain persons in law enforcement or in high office actually start doing what is required, this is what you would get. You would get that type of reprisal by individuals because obviously it is affecting their business. What I am doing is affecting their business, affecting their trade, and it can very well affect their freedom because they may be arrested. If it is that this was not happening, then I may be a little concerned. So I give the assurance that I will not shoot my responsibility. And in fact, if it is that they had a concern then, I intend to go down into even a higher gear very soon.
Staying on the policing front in Port of Spain, lawmen have detained 10 people after rescuing 19 South American girls in what has been described as a crack in a major drug and prostitution ring west of the island. The girls, between ages 15 and 19 years, were found in a business place on the outskirts of the capital early Wednesday morning. Police Commissioner Gary Griffith led the operation that included members of the Special Operations Response Team, the Financial Intelligence Branch, and the Counter-Trafficking Unit. The girls have since been taken for medical examinations and are being housed in a police facility. The 10 people detained could face charges of human trafficking and harboring the girls. Commissioner Griffith told the media that the operation was a major breakthrough in the trafficking of women from Venezuela and possibly the trafficking of drugs.
What we were able to encounter is that initially there have been 19 young ladies, all under the age of 21, most of them 15 and 16 years old, that were actually held against their will. They were basically slaves. They were released, rescued by the Special Operation Response Team last night. As I said, 19 of them, most of them 15 and 16 years old, being used as prostitutes by certain individuals. This operation was conducted throughout different places in the Western Division and Port of Spain Division, ranging from Arapita Avenue, West Moorings, other parts on Mount Coco Road. A number of persons have been held of Asian ethnicity, and the operation is continuing. What we are seeing here is that we are trying to get as much information as possible to be able to ascertain that the link between the illegal immigrants, prostitution, and also this may also be a conduit towards the illegal shipment of drugs and weapons entering the country.
In other news, CARICOM leaders have joined their counterparts from Mexico and Uruguay in formalizing a plan to address the political crisis in Venezuela through an initiative called the Montevideo Mechanism. A statement issued by the Office of the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago said the initiative is a response to a call by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres to find a path to a peaceful resolution through dialogue and from a position of respect for international law and human rights. According to the statement, the Montevideo Mechanism is guided by the principles of non-intervention, legal equality of the states, peaceful solution of the controversies, respect for human rights, and self-determination. It proposes that this be done through a four-phased approach. CARICOM Chairman, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris is leading the regional delegation that also includes Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, her Trinidad and Tobago counterpart Dr. Keith Rowley, the Belize Foreign Minister Wilfred Elrington, and CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, a $500,000 reward offered as investigations continue into the murder of a Jamaican parliamentarian. The details of that story and more after the break.
Shower in the evening or take a fresh at night. Enjoy a warm shower with Solar Dynamics, you feel alright. Comfort, safety, temperature guaranteed. Long service fulfilling your every need. Take a shower in comfort and no more upstream water touch you. Solar Dynamics is the best for you. Save on electricity. Be environmentally friendly. Solar Dynamics is the one for you.
There he is. That's not the one I wanted, but I'll take him. Don't move right now. That's a smallmouth. This is nice. Yes. Yeah, that's a smallmouth. Yeah! Smallmouth! I'm lost. Help me. I'm not terribly disappointed that I got a couple of fish, 3 fish right now. And I'm telling you, I never really fished this. I would never come here first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. So I'm just finding new areas to fish.
Welcome back. A $500,000 Jamaican reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of whoever is responsible for the stabbing death of opposition legislator Dr. Linville Bloomfield. It's been offered through Crime Stop by the opposition People's National Party, which has also rejected rumors about the motive for the murder. The party announced the reward on Tuesday, 3 days after the East Portland Member of Parliament was found dead in his home on the island's northeast coast.
$500,000. That's the amount being offered to anyone with information leading to the arrest of the person or persons responsible for the murder of former Portland Eastern Member of Parliament, Dr. Linville Bloomfield.
We call upon anyone with information who can assist the police with their investigations to provide whatever information known so that those responsible can be apprehended and brought to justice.
News of Dr. Bloomfield's murder on Saturday sent shockwaves across the country and has since led to speculations about the motive for the killing. Our news team understands that in Portland, some PNP supporters have begun pointing fingers and insist the killing was politically motivated. The comments were similar on social media. But PNP General Secretary Julian Robinson wanted to make one thing clear.
The party has taken no position with respect to the motivation for the murder. What we are doing is allowing the police to do their investigation. We will remain in touch with the police, but we are not going to add to the speculation as to what the motive may be, because quite frankly, I don't think it is helpful at this stage.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has assigned head of the Major Investigation Task Force, Senior Superintendent of Police MacArthur Sutherland, to lead the probe. Up to Monday, the cops were collecting statements and carrying out forensic tests on items found at the murder scene in Paisley Gardens, Portland. But as the investigations continue, the question being asked is who will be the new PNP candidate for Portland Eastern when the Prime Minister announces a by-election date.
Our focus at this stage is to commemorate his service rather than deal with the political issues. We know those matters will arise, and we obviously don't have control over when a by-election will be called. So we are, as a responsible organization, we're going to prepare ourselves. But right now our focus is to deal with his family and to ensure that we can support the police and do what we can.
In this week's Newsline business, gas production is up in Trinidad and Tobago. Jamaica's finance minister seeks to allay fears over foreign exchange shortage, and things are looking up for Jamaica's castor oil industry.
Newsline Business is brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
Trinidad and Tobago is reporting an increase in gas production. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley told this week's energy conference he has seen an upward trend from 2017 figures, which stood at 3.2 billion cubic feet per day.
We expect gas production to stabilize over the 2020 to 2023 period at approximately 4 billion cubic feet per day, based on the level of investment to be undertaken by upstream companies and, who knows, cross-border initiatives with Venezuela.
Rowley is also anticipating a similar trend in oil production, and he remains optimistic that the now defunct state-owned Petrotrin could be reopened soon.
Expressions of interest have been received from about 50 interested parties from all sectors of the industry, including the OWTU.
Jamaica's finance minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, is dismissing reports of a shortage of foreign exchange on the island. It comes on the heels of concerns that local companies had difficulty accessing US dollars last month. In some cases, there were reports of offers as high as 143 Jamaican dollars for $1 US. But Clark says the Bank of Jamaica's reserves are at a record high.
In the past, we have had issues of foreign exchange that are reflecting economic fundamentals. You have had, chronic fiscal deficits or massive debt or huge layoffs and unemployment, chronic instability, high inflation. Those were the drivers in the 90s of what we came to associate with foreign exchange anxiety. Today, our economic fundamentals are entirely different.
And the governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Brian Winter, is not expecting the situation to last very long.
Since the start of the year, there have been higher levels of demand for US dollars coming from large capital market transactions.
Staying in Jamaica, a new study on the local castor oil industry is showing significant potential for Jamaican black castor oil in the United States. The study by Complete Caribbean indicates that the U.S. market for the product stands at about $28 million. Director of the Jamaica Castor Oil Industry Association, Shirley Lindo, says this indicates the high value of the local castor bean. And she says there is need for policies to define clearly the Jamaican black castor oil, as well as implementation of geographic indicators to ensure its protection. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Business.
Newsline Business was brought to you by Solar Dynamics.
Shower in the morning, shower in the evening, or take a fresh at night. Enjoy a warm shower with Solar Dynamics, you'll feel alright. Comfort, safety, temperature guaranteed. Long service, fulfilling your every need. Take a shower in comfort, and no more ups with water touch you. Solar Dynamics is the best for you. Save on electricity, be environmentally friendly. Solar Dynamics is the one for you.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, Antigua faces an ICC sanction in wake of the West Indies Test Series win against England. Stay with us.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Butcher Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to StKittsMusicFestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Welcome to Funhouse Visual Media, Care Vision's new digital video production and corporate communication division, your one-stop shop for creative marketing solutions. Trust our experienced team to work with you to determine the best strategies to suit your goals and budget. Our aim is to provide you with the best product conveying your company's message. Contact us at production@carevision.tv about our special production and advertising packages. Your message will be seen on all of our international distribution platforms. Care Vision and Funhouse Visual Media, one stop for creative marketing and advertising solutions.
Continuing with sports, Caribbean cricket has suffered another setback mere days after West Indies captain Jason Holder was banned by the ICC for the side's slow over rate in the second test against England. This time, there's the possibility of an ICC sanction for the standard of the pitch in that same test at the Sir Viv Richards Stadium in Antigua. According to ESPN Cricinfo, there are concerns that ICC match referee Jeff Crow will decide the pitch used during the match was not up to standard. Several batsmen were struck on the hands or body and a couple more received unplayable deliveries during the match, and England's head coach Trevor Bayliss also expressed concerns. But the Cricinfo report said that officials at Cricket West Indies remain hopeful that the fact the Windies batted for 131 overs and scored more than 300 runs in their first innings showed the pitch was not so bad. It's not the first time concerns have been raised about the standard of the pitch at North Sound. Back in 2009, the second test match against England had to be abandoned after only 10 deliveries were bowled at the same venue. If the ICC declares the Antigua ground unfit this time around, it will be given 5 demerit points and a possible ban from hosting any international matches should the sanctions continue over a 5-year period. The facility will be one of the venues for the next home series against India in August. While the West Indies Test Series victory against England is still fresh on the minds of some former regional cricketers, Brian Davis is one of the former players who expressed surprise about the side's fortunes. Speaking with TTT's Kent Fuentes, he also weighed in on the controversial slow over rate sanction imposed on the Windies skipper.
It's the first time in many years since the West Indies have defeated a test-playing nation other than Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. And Davis says the performance did come as a surprise to most.
Yeah, I would be surprised if nobody is surprised. I think it was a fantastic effort, and they came out of the blue, especially having lost so badly in Bangladesh and India just in the last few months. And to come and turn the tables completely on a team like England, who are rated number 3 in the world, I think was a fantastic performance.
He believes credit must be given to Captain Jason Holder for his leadership of the team during the series, backed up by some strong performances with bat and ball.
And they seem to have a more positive attitude, and like they want to win. I believe it came from and generated by the captain, Jason Holder. And the reason for that is Jason Holder last year was his most successful year. He did very well. He went up into the rankings at number 1 as the number 1 all-round in the world. So therefore, his self-confidence and the confidence in being a leader, I think, had a lot to do with it.
Holder has been banned for the 3rd test because of his team's slow over rate, despite them winning the game within 3 days, prompting Davis to call for a rule change.
Now, if you win a match in 2 days or in 3 days, you know, it's ridiculous to think that you're going to find that captain and punish that team for overrate when you have won the game. So you haven't done anything to your advantage. And they have to look at it from that point of view, I think, now. Whether it was advantageous to that team for slowing down their overrate to try to win the game or draw the game.
The third test is set for St. Lucia starting on Saturday, with the West Indies up 2-0 in the series, having already secured the Wisden Trophy from England.
Still in cricket, West Indies women's captain Stephanie Taylor says her side will not be taking Pakistan for granted in the opening one-day international match on Thursday. Having already won the T20 series 2-1, a very confident Taylor says she's expecting a tough fight from the Pakistanis.
Well, we and Pakistan are pretty close. We're on the points table, not taking anything for granted. We just want to go out there and play our own kind of cricket, our own style of cricket, our own brand of cricket. So yeah, it's not going to be an easy one. We see how well both teams did in the T20. So yeah, I think this one is going to be, a challenging one.
Pakistan has unleashed a cadre of top spinners, which include the likes of Nia Dar, Anam Amin and Sana Mir, all of whom put on a superb performance in the T20s. While the Windies are wary of that, Taylor says she has no problem using her full complement of spinners against Pakistan.
We have about 5 spinners, good spinners, and yeah, I think it's more likely using them at the right time. And yeah, I would definitely use them a lot. I think that even though Pakistan have a lot of spinners, we pretty much have the same, and we could use them pretty much into at our advantage. Yeah, and I think it's more likely using them at the right time.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Buju Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to StKittsMusicFestival.com. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Welcome to the WWG 2019 War with Germs.
The Oxitec antimicrobial glove is wasting no time, folks.
Quite right, Tammy. I see no way for the germs duo to come back from this.
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oxitec is the winner in less than a minute. WWG champion of the world. Find our champion at www.psci.biz or give us a call at 417-0777.
Again, the major developments of this day. The Guyana Elections Commission suggests the earliest elections can be held is April. And in sport, Antigua faces an ICC sanction related to the poor quality of the pitch at Sir Viv Richards grounds during the West Indies' second test against England. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.